You have probably heard this your whole life. If a medication was prescribed by a doctor and you have been taking it for years without any obvious problems, it must still be safe, right? Here is the truth. That assumption is one of the most common and most dangerous misconceptions in senior health today. Few people know that the medications that protected you at 55 may be quietly working against you at 72. Not because your doctor made a mistake, not because the drug is inherently bad, but because your body has changed in ways that nobody went back and accounted for. I am Dr. Linda Thompson, and on this channel I bring you clear, evidence-based health guidance designed specifically for adults over 60. Today I want to talk about something that rarely gets enough attention in routine doctor visits. It is not about one specific drug. It is about why aging itself changes the way every medication behaves inside your body, and why that understanding could protect you from some of the most serious and preventable risks facing adults over 70 right now. Many of the people I have worked with had no idea this was happening to them. They assumed their fatigue was just age, their dizziness was just age, their confusion was just age. It was not always age. Sometimes it was a medication that nobody had revisited in years. Stay with me, because what I am about to share may completely change the way you look at the prescriptions on your nightstand tonight. Let us start by challenging something most people take for granted. You have always assumed that a pill works the same way every time you take it. Same drug, same dose, same effect. But here is what most people never realize. A medication does not work in isolation. It works inside a body, and when that body changes, the medication changes with it. Think of it this way. Imagine the water filter in your home. When it is new, it processes water quickly and cleanly. Over years of use, it slows down, becomes less efficient. Things that should be filtered out start getting through. Your body's medication processing system works in a very similar way. And after 70, that system has slowed down in ways that are quiet, invisible, and rarely discussed at your annual checkup. Research suggests that adverse drug reactions are 2 to 3 times more common in older adults than in younger patients. Studies indicate that a meaningful portion of hospitalizations in adults over 70 are directly tied to medication effects that were never reassessed as the patient aged. This is not rare. This is happening every single day. So let us walk through exactly what is changing inside your body, because once you understand the why, everything else makes complete sense. The first change is in your kidneys, and this one surprises almost everyone. Your kidneys act like a filtration plant for your bloodstream. Their job is to pull medications out of your blood and send them out through urine. When that system is working well, medications clear out on a predictable schedule. The dose your doctor prescribed was calculated with that efficient clearance in mind. But here is what most people are never told. After 40, kidney function naturally declines by about 1% every year. By 70, you may have lost 30% of your filtering capacity. And here is the part that genuinely shocks people. That decline often does not show up on standard blood tests until it is already quite significant. So what does that mean for your medication? If your kidneys are filtering 30% less efficiently, that drug stays in your bloodstream 30% longer. It builds up with each dose. It reaches concentrations the original prescription was never designed to produce. Many people I have helped did not realize their growing fatigue or confusion had anything to do with kidney changes. They thought they were simply getting older. But when we adjusted their medications to reflect where their kidney function actually was, the difference was often remarkable. Here is what most people never realize. Common medications like metformin for diabetes, certain blood pressure drugs, and a number of pain relievers all depend heavily on kidney clearance. When those kidneys are running at 70% capacity, these drugs linger, they accumulate, and the body pays a quiet price over months and years. But the kidneys are only part of the story. The second major change is in your liver, and this one works differently but matters just as much. Your liver is the body's chemistry lab. It breaks medications down into less active forms so they can be safely eliminated. In a younger liver, specialized enzymes do this work quickly. After 70, liver blood flow decreases, and those enzymes slow considerably. Medications broken down by the liver stay active in your body far longer than the label anticipates. Here is a number that stopped many of my patients cold when I shared it with them. A common anti-anxiety medication called diazepam, which many people know as Valium, has a half-life of about 20 to 30 hours in a 30-year-old. In a 75-year-old with slower liver metabolism, that same drug can have a half-life of more than 80 hours. Tuesday's dose is still meaningfully active on Friday. Wednesday's dose is still present on Saturday. Each new dose layers on top of what has not yet cleared. Few people know this stacking effect is happening invisibly, without any warning, and without any change in the prescription at all. And that brings us to the third change, the one that surprises my patients most. After 70, the brain itself becomes far more sensitive to medications with any sedating effect. This is not just about the drug staying longer. This is a separate phenomenon entirely. The aging brain has fewer active neurons, shifts in neurotransmitter levels, and changes in how its receptors respond. The result is that the brain amplifies the effect of sedating medications in ways a younger brain simply does not. Sleep aids, anti-anxiety medications, common over-the-counter antihistamines found in allergy pills and nighttime cold remedies, even certain blood pressure and bladder control drugs. All of these can produce a much stronger effect in a 72-year-old brain than that same dose produced in that same person at 58. Many people I have worked with described this as feeling foggy, slow, not quite themselves. They assumed it was memory decline. For some of them it was not. It was their medication affecting a brain that had quietly become far more sensitive to it. And here is where this becomes critically serious. That brain sensitivity does not just mean feeling drowsy. It means slower reflexes, impaired balance, a split-second delay in catching yourself when you stumble. And in too many cases, it means falls. Let me tell you about Raymond. Raymond was 77, a retired school principal, sharp, independent, proud of the life he had built. After his wife passed away when he was 71, his sleep collapsed. His physician prescribed a low-dose sleep medication. At the time, it was a compassionate and reasonable decision. It helped him through an incredibly difficult period. But over the 6 years that followed, Raymond's kidneys had quietly lost more filtering capacity. His liver was processing medications more slowly, and his brain had become significantly more sensitive to sedating compounds. None of this had ever been reassessed. From the outside, Raymond seemed okay. A little slower, a little more forgetful. His children assumed it was normal aging. Then one night, he got up to use the bathroom. The moment he stood, the room tilted. He reached for the dresser. He missed. He fell and fractured his hip. 11 days in the hospital. 3 months in rehabilitation. Raymond never fully regained the independence he had before that night. When his medications were finally reviewed during his hospital stay, the picture became clear. The sleep medication prescribed for a 71-year-old body had been running, unreviewed, in a 77-year-old body with meaningfully reduced clearance. Nobody had connected the dots. Studies indicate this is one of the most common and most preventable patterns in senior hospitalizations. Raymond's story is not the exception. It is far closer to the rule. Now here is something else most people never consider. Most seniors are not taking one medication. The average American over 65 takes 4 to 5 prescription drugs. Many take more, plus vitamins, supplements, and over-the-counter products. And here is what almost no one explains. Medications interact with each other, and those interactions become more unpredictable in a body that is already clearing drugs more slowly. 2 medications that are individually safe can combine inside a 74-year-old body to produce effects neither one would cause alone. Blood pressure that drops too suddenly, bleeding risk that climbs too high, sedation that becomes disorienting and dangerous. This is called polypharmacy. Few people know this term, but research suggests it is one of the most significant and least discussed drivers of serious health events in older adults today. Many of the people I have helped most were not helped by adding something new. They were helped by carefully removing or adjusting what was already there. Sometimes the most powerful thing a physician can do is simplify. Here is what I want you to hear clearly. Everything I have described today is reviewable. It is addressable. And you have the power to start that conversation yourself. So here is your action plan. Gather every single thing you take and bring it to your next appointment. Not just prescriptions, every vitamin, supplement, sleep aid, antacid, and allergy tablet. Put it all in a bag. Physicians call this a brown bag review. It takes less than 15 minutes and can reveal interactions that have been invisible for years. Many seniors who have done this walked out with a meaningfully safer medication plan the same day. Ask your doctor this exact question. Write it down before your appointment if you need to. Given my age and how my kidneys and liver are functioning today, are all of my current medications still at the right dose for my body right now? That single question opens a conversation that many older adults have simply never had. Ask specifically about any medication you have been taking for more than 3 years without a formal review. Research suggests that medications prescribed in your 50s and early 60s were calibrated for a body that has since changed in real and measurable ways. Ask whether any of your medications appear on the Beers criteria. This is a list maintained by the American Geriatric Society that identifies medications warranting extra caution in older adults due to increased risks of falls, confusion, or organ strain. It is not a list of medications that are always wrong. It is a list that deserves a careful second look in your age group. And finally, never stop or reduce any medication on your own without speaking to your physician first. Some medications that carry risks also carry benefits that are essential. Stopping them abruptly can cause serious harm. You are building a conversation, not making unilateral decisions. Let me tell you about Evelyn before we close. Evelyn was 71. She came to see me carrying a paper bag with 11 different medications and supplements collected from multiple physicians over a decade. She was exhausted every morning, dizzy when she stood. She had fallen once the previous winter and was frightened it would happen again. She had been told repeatedly she was simply getting older. After a careful review, we identified 3 items that were either redundant, dosed for a younger body, or interacting in ways that were directly contributing to her symptoms. Over several supervised weeks, we simplified her regimen. 2 months later, she told me the fog she had been living in for 2 years had finally lifted. She felt like herself again. Evelyn did not need a new diagnosis. She did not need a new drug. She needed someone to look at the full picture with fresh eyes, and she needed the courage to bring that bag into the appointment. You have that same power. Take control of this conversation. You are entitled to a medication review that reflects the body you have today. Drop a comment below and tell me how many medications you are currently taking. Just the number. I read every single response, and it genuinely shapes the content I create for this channel. If this gave you something useful, please share it with someone you love who is over 65. One conversation with the right information at the right time genuinely changes outcomes. Subscribe if you have not already, because next week we are covering the specific over-the-counter sleep and allergy medications that studies indicate are potentially inappropriate for seniors and what the research suggests as safer alternatives. It is one of the most important topics I have covered on this channel, and I do not want you to miss it. Take good care of yourselves.